right here on Front Runner. Again, I'm standing in for Gamza. I'm the ghost presenter for now. Don't worry, Gamza will be back. Coming up on the show, as you've seen on Twitter, we have CAF Champions League. Mamelodi Sundowns are tumultuous second leg fixture against his former club, Mamelodi Sundowns, at the Lucas Masterpieces Maripe Stadium. It wasn't a warm welcome at all for PITSO. And then we'll also talk about Pirates. Oh my goodness, they shouldn't have even traveled to Morocco to face Raja, because that was embarrassing for the country. How do you concede 4 goals in the first half? My goodness. Okay, and then we will have BafANA squad that will face Uganda. Yeah, tell us, so many changes in that squad. So many changes. You know, the old horses are gone. Yo, there's no ties. The captain is no longer in the squad. Well, to be fair, he hasn't been doing well at all. And obviously, the Glad Africa Championship. I think it's more interesting than some of these soapies that we watch daily on TV. Yeah. Okay, as you know, I'm joined by Timothy, Calvin Sosibo, looking all serious there. It's not that serious. It's not. He's just looking serious. And Velile, of course. Welcome, gentlemen. Okay, cool. We're going to start with Velile. The Glad Africa Championship.
Correct.
What is going on there? My God. Please, shit. What is going on there?
Well, yeah, it's one of those days, one of those times, the Glad Africa Championship, that we have to go back and talk about boardroom matters again.
Yeah.
At the heart of deciding which team will, and promotion. Direct promotion this time around. Remember, and this is why it's something that's highly contested, because you'll recall that last season, Black Leopards, they retained their status in the top division.
Yeah, playoffs.
In the playoffs. So there's no guarantee when you go to the playoffs that will end for sure.
Yeah.
So that's why maybe these teams, they are making sure that by hook or crook, one of them should be directly promoted, you know?
Yeah.
But I think in this case, one serious concern that one has, and which I've been listening to the CEO of SAFA as well talking about it. He was on Metro and he was also on SAFM this evening.
Yeah.
Is that there is an arbitration ruling, an arbitration award last week, which awarded points to Sekhukhune.
Yeah.
You know, and also 3 goals. And until award is set aside by a court of law, it should be implemented.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It
Rules are rules.
It has happened before.
Yeah. They've set a precedent.
You know, definitely. And so I think that's the only thing right now. I know that the league is saying they can't hand over the trophy.
Yeah.
Which I accept when they are saying that. But I don't understand why the log standings are not reflecting there's a team that was awarded points last week.
Yeah. According to their own rules.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You understand?
By the PSL themselves.
Yes. But I think what's important now is to note that Polokwane City has since filed an urgent application, and this is a matter that will be heard at the Johannesburg High Court on Friday. Yeah. This is where they are challenging the outcome of the arbitrator. We all know the decision last week that came from Advocate Hilton Epstein SC. Yeah. Where he was looking in the matter that was brought by Sekhukhune after Sekhukhune had appealed. Yeah. A PSLDC a ruling that was allocating points In fact, that was expunged points from Polokwane City. After Polokwane City were found guilty of having contravened Rule 85.2 of the NSL handbook. The rule which says PSL, in fact, a team in the Great Africa Championship must play with 5 players on the team sheet. Must have 5 players on the team sheet at all material times who are under 23. And of which 2 of those players at all material times must be on the pitch. And in this case, Polokwane City failed to do that. And we are talking here about something that happened in the second weekend of this year. You know? And then I think they were eventually charged on the 24th of February. But the case was only concluded just some few weeks ago.
Why the delay?
I think that is where we will start. Last season, we had a situation where Mbombela United also contravened the rules around playing of an ineligible player. Office at the league, this is a serious matter.
Like,
you know,
for so long.
A league with a brand as big as the PSL, we really don't need this. You know, we have countries with leagues all over the continent which look up to us. And you know,
as a leader in the space.
Exactly. So all the processes, including the legal processes, they ought to be at that standard. But without losing track of what we're talking about. So where we are now, we're in a situation where Polokwane City, which had points expunged from them, 3 points including a goal, and accepted the outcome of the DC.
They are fine with it.
They were fine with that.
And
now all of a sudden, in the court papers, which are only stamped today's date, contrary to what we had, you know,
how convenient,
you know. So now Polokwane City is asking the High Court to set the arbitration ruling aside.
Law is law, and football matters should not see the light of court.
You know,
by the FIFA statutes.
It's there. In fact, I think I've got it somewhere. I will check the rule for you, because you know, no. It's on the PSL handbook, on exhaustion of internal remedies. It's on 26. It's on article 26. No member, club, player, coach, or member club official, or any person subject to the provisions of this NSL handbook shall seek recourse in a court of law or an administrative tribunal on any issue that may be decided in terms of this NSL handbook or SAFA, FIFA, or CAF statutes. Article, which will constitute, in fact, until all procedures prescribed to this NSL handbook have been exhausted. Any breach of this article will constitute misconduct, which shall be dealt with in terms of the legal's disciplinary procedures.
Straightforward.
Straightforward.
No, it looks straightforward. But at this moment in time, it's not.
No, it's not. It's not. And I will say it's not because when I look at the reports that PLK City is seeking from the court, for me, some of the points are in line with the PSL statement from Friday in questioning how the arbitrator arrived at a decision to set aside the DC ruling against Polokwane City and took the points and awarded them to Sekhukhune. So there's, I think it's going to be very interesting. But on this matter that we're talking about, on this Article 26, I think it's going to be said that there's a precedent, and I think this goes back also to, and it's another one that I have here, because we had attended this case. It was a case which it was a part of Ndoro, the Ndoro case. Yes. And there was a judge whom I think his ruling was really very interesting. Judge Unterhalter. Judge Unterhalter, he ruled on a matter of jurisdiction. On whether matters of football can be decided in court. And I felt that his ruling is not just only for South Africa. You know, I felt that his ruling has got far-reaching consequences also for global football. But during, as we discuss, I will go back to it and try and find it, because I felt that Judge Unterhalter, and interestingly, around that time, Judge Unterhalter, he was dealing with Ajax Cape Town, who were challenging also advocate William Mkari SC, because William Mkari SC had ruled in favor of the PSL in that case, and Ajax ended up being docked points, and some points were awarded. Were awarded, but I think the only difference now is that Ndoro was an ineligible player. Now we're dealing with a matter of ineligibility. Yes. So that is the situation.
That's the situation.
But the situation now is Ingenapi Ipolokwane City.
Hey, they were okay.
Yes.
All of a sudden,
they revived the interest.
Maybe they were studying the case, the verdict that was given. They had time to study before they respond.
Even before that, to be clear, Polokwane City were wrong.
Yes, and they acknowledged.
And they admitted it.
Yes.
So, in a way, we can say case closed. Because they were wrong.
And there was a ruling.
And they admitted that they were wrong. If I'm not mistaken, that match was played under protest.
Yes, it was. It was.
You know,
and also in their court papers, also they do acknowledge that. That it was played under protest.
So what are they hoping to achieve?
You know, court matters don't rot. They can be resuscitated at any time. And this is a case in point, because they are interested parties now. There is a person who can fund the Polokwane case. And strongly they have a feeling that in this era period of COVID-19, COVID-19 can be a reason for everything happening.
And
so
also,
it'll be very interesting to see what is going to unfold. I can say it was very unfortunate to see two clubs declaring themselves champions with winning t-shirts.
That was embarrassing.
Others bought themselves their own medals.
Like PSL came out and said they're not gonna
the trophies missing for presentation.
Like, doesn't that take away from the
court? The trophy was not missing.
It was put on hold.
The PSL came out.
Did say, even though their statement came after.
Yes, true.
Which I don't understand why they came statement came after. Because
when the match was finished.
Communication matters. You must communicate something before. You understand? So that people, on whatever happens, they are aware prior. You understand? You cannot communicate such critical information
the latest hour
after the matches. When people are asking questions. When we're watching, we must watch knowing. It must not be a case of now we're waiting to see
in hindsight
which team is going to win.
Yes.
Must not equalize.
Yes.
You understand what I mean?
There's no clarity.
You must not be a fence sitter.
Yeah, because this draws into this conclusion. Even the way the royal game, how it went down, and the penalty. With that being given, and knowing the statement came early, we'll all be in a different way of
you don't
viewing
trust
how
the
penalty.
penalty.
No, I don't trust it. The draw was fair on the goalless. The draw was fair on the goalless. But immediately when Cape Town scored, and then it turned things around.
Then they needed a goal.
They needed a goal. You saw how many fouls they were there? You saw how many fouls?
No, tell me.
I was watching the game. I was watching.
Yeah, like no one is really happy. Let's hear
I'm not happy at all.
Look,
let's hear you. Let's hear you.
It's very interesting at this moment in time because already my mind goes to the thought of when will the playoffs take place and which teams are going to be participating in the playoffs.
When are they going to prepare?
Because you have got two teams that are eligible to play in the playoffs. They are all contesting to be the automatic qualified team. What is going to be the level of preparation to prepare for the playoffs? Because they have to take place. There's no time. So this is one of the greatest fiascos that can happen in South African football at this moment in time.
Yeah,
it shouldn't be happening at this moment in time.
It shouldn't be happening, and I think it's very unfortunate because I think the first game of the playoffs is supposed to be on the 9th.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm lying. I think it's supposed to be on the 6th.
Yeah.
Then the team that would be dropping down from the top division is supposed to play its first game on the 9th.
Black Leopards.
Yes.
No, Black Leopards is out. Sorry.
Yes, and I think that's around the 20.
Don't rule them out.
Mathematically, not yet.
Yeah. They are playing Chiefs, remember.
Maybe afterwards. So this is the situation. They're supposed to be concluded on the 28th or 25th of next month.
Yeah.
But this matter is going to court on Friday.
Oh my goodness.
There's no guarantee that it will be concluded on Friday. And also, we also don't, as much as yes, I know that they will advance the points that they need to start the playoffs on this particular date. But there's a possibility that it will drag.
Yeah.
And maybe any aggrieved party by that outcome would also seek another order to
appeal the ruling.
To appeal the ruling.
Yeah.
And then it drags again.
And then it drags again.
Like
and also remember, ideally when it comes to sports matters, if you are not satisfied at the level of the arbitration, you're supposed to go to Court of Arbitration for Sport.
Jeez, all the way to CAS. Yes. My goodness.
So this is a matter, and one interesting thing around this one is Sekhukhune is represented by Advocate Norman Arendse.
Yeah.
And Advocate Norman Arendse, when Ajax took the league and also Advocate William Mkhari SC to court to review that arbitration ruling. Yeah. Advocate Norman Arendse was there.
Yeah.
So he fully understands the process.
Yeah.
The context of the case.
Understand? No, but also in terms of when you get to court, because you see now, even as journalists, when this matter was at arbitration level, we're locked outside. Yeah. We can't. A court we are there, and
but
we'll tell it as it is.
Yeah, but that's if you are even gonna be put on the roll for the court process.
No. Journalists, they don't need anyone's approval.
I'm saying the case itself to be rolled onto the court process.
It is for Friday.
It's going ahead.
Yeah,
you see,
I'm not for Friday because look, we got a lot of experience.
Yeah,
just a pity that this Friday I'm not around here.
Yeah,
we got a lot of experience from covering the Ndoro case.
Yeah,
and would advise any aspiring football journalist.
Yeah,
and people who are just looking after transfer schools but covering the key matters of
football. You know, come here.
If you have an opportunity to go and cover that case, they must go and listen to the administrative side of the game.
Yeah,
you understand? Because that's why for me, as a football journalist,
Yeah.
if you are not in tune with the NSL handbook, the
Yeah.
SAFA statutes,
True.
the CAF statutes,
Yeah.
and also the FIFA statutes, I don't know what you're doing if you're saying you're covering football.
Yeah.
Because those are the things that you must know, like
At the back of your head.
Yeah.
you know. Yeah.
True. No, I completely agree with you. But lastly, on this note, does it take away that spirit of football, that excitement on the last day, knowing that if you draw, you automatically qualify without ambiguity? It's crystal clear. I draw, I qualify, I win, I qualify. Now, no one is sure. Doesn't that take away the essence of the game?
Look, you're talking about the essence of the game, but it brings to mind Glad Africa. They are silent on this matter.
The sponsor.
As the sponsor.
What?
They have not given us a statement yet of the things that unfolded. At this moment in time, we would think that a serious sponsor would be issuing a statement going forward.
Yeah.
As a player, you can imagine the players who are, at that moment planning and to celebrate the negotiations for contracts, what next for next season, because you're in between to secure your job, secure a new contract. It's too sure that you don't know what's happening right now.
Yeah.
So everything now is in limbo. Everybody is quiet. There's so much uncertainty at this moment in time. And we should have to wait for the court processes. I guess it's presidential now.
Okay, cool.
No. It's interesting because I think in one of the points that Polokwane City is using here, they are saying by awarding the points, which they feel is unmerited points, to Sekhukhune.
Yeah.
They are unfairly benefiting Sekhukhune and disadvantaging other teams.
Yeah.
And they are questioning why Sekhukhune is being awarded the full 3 points when they had failed, when they had lost the game. I mean,
it's a non-starter.
If you play other games, you play a game under protest.
It's a non-starter.
Come
on.
The rules are the rules. They don't change on willy. So
okay, let's wrap this up. We have Raymond on the line. Let's wrap this up. Raymond, welcome.
Good day. Hi, Putvelli. Hi, Timothy.
Hi,
Thank
Raymond.
you.
Hi.
Wrap it up, buddy. Wrap it up.
Hi, Kelvin. Yeah.
Yes,
So just a quick thing, but I'm just gonna summarize everything, including Pirates and Chiefs. I'll just include all the topics just in brief. So, but basically, with this NFT, I don't know why the PSL is holding up, because my point is rules are rules. So why are they running around things? Which could potentially show maybe potentially that there's a brown envelope involved somewhere, or maybe they're just trying to look for loopholes.
Yeah, it creates that impression
in the Polokwane game. Maybe they're looking for something small, maybe that they can use against Sekhukhune. See, because rules are rules. You see, when you look at CAF, how they implement the rules. Remember how they suspended Chiefs from playing CAF. I don't know what was it, for 4 years or something, for failure to play a match. I think it was during Termicu's time. When Chiefs didn't go and play a Fed Cup match. Instead, they opted to play a league match. Remember, like the last day of the league, and they were challenging. So they together with Pirates, and they went on the last day. So they decided to play the league on that day, and decided to snap CAF, and then CAF suspended them for a couple of years. And then now you look at the transfer ban that happened to Chiefs as well now. Just with that CAF and FIFA, when they implement rules, they implement them.
Yeah.
Those are rules. But
True,
now
true,
when it comes to the PSR, it's a run around. Maybe they must just review whoever is in charge of the National First Division, and probably maybe, I don't know, maybe review because I think in this way, should something go wrong, it means that Nkotha will also be compromised, you know, as the chairman of the league, which is wrong. And then secondly, I'm just going to move on quickly. With regards to Pirates, I don't know what's happening there. Guys, what the players that Pirates have, and for them to lose like that. Because yesterday I was telling people that Raja Casablanca, they didn't play fancy. They were not wow. They just applied simple basics. You know, you just look at how they passed and how they scored. It was just simple stuff. They just capitalized on the mistakes of Orlando Pirates. You see, they made the Pirates defense look, I don't know, they made them look amateur, which is wrong. Because I feel like something is wrong. Maybe there's interference, maybe with regards to how the coaches. I don't know. But you can see that something is wrong there, because you go back to how Pirates are like in CAF. Pirates used to have like a fighting spirit, you know, when Pirates play CAF games, you know that, you know what, whether they play extra runs, whether they play like away from home, Pirates is going to come out with the result.
Yeah, it's not the same.
Good. But now I don't know what's happening. With the kind of investment that Nkotha has, I don't know what's happening.
Yeah.
Chiefs quickly. I'm just gonna do it.
Quickly.
And then with Chiefs in December, the December was different from the one.
You played at home.
FNB, and I feel like if it wasn't for the foreign quota, you know, so sometimes I feel like the foreign quota in the PSL is actually holding us back, because I feel like, you know, the PSL, they have a tendency of taking shortcuts.
Yeah.
So they implement quotas, they implement the rules because they're taking shortcuts. It's sort of having a proper reserve leagues like they have in the EPL, where you have the under 19 league, under 20 leagues, under 23 leagues. So you even have first division leagues in there. Yeah, in South Africa, they take shortcuts like, okay, let's implement the quota, but actually it's holding us back, because I feel like you know, at Chiefs, Pirates, Sundowns mostly, they're competing for the same market, which is the South African market. So they can't really sign, you know, the best players. But if there was no quota, I feel like maybe 5 Simba players maybe would be playing for Chiefs or Pirates, or maybe, you know, players from everyone's.
Yeah.
Some of them would be playing for big players, but because we're competing for the same market now.
Yeah.
It makes our football a bit boring and not really that competitive. I feel like, you know, like Simba really played, you know, like I respect them, you know, and they remind me of how Chiefs used to play past.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay, cool, Raymond. Let's leave it there. Let's talk about it, gentlemen. So coach, Chiefs.
Yeah.
What happened?
I think let's conclude this matter.
Oh, we haven't. Apologies. Apologies.
In the conclusion.
Apologies.
Let's conclude this matter.
Accept my apologies.
Yes. No.
Except
I can tell Amako is the only team that is left in the CAF competitions in the country.
They're itching.
Yeah. They're itching to go.
Yeah. Talk about
the team that got dragged for Papa. Yeah. But I think, and now all we have to do is to wait.
Yeah.
For Friday and see where the court case
takes us.
But I think in the meantime, the PSL must implement the arbitration ruling.
Yeah, as it stands, Kukune have been promoted to the Premier League.
Yes,
and they need to acknowledge that.
They must be seen as adhering to the rule of law.
Yeah, their own rules.
Their own rules.
Yeah.
Their own rules which have pointed us to the arbitration.
Yes.
But also to the rule of law.
Yes, indeed.
You know,
completely agree with
you.
Exactly.
Completely. Because now we don't want to promote lawlessness.
Yeah.
Because we'll be setting a wrong precedent.
True. And then you have anarchy.
Exactly. No. Yeah. But I think it must also be said.
Yeah.
It must also be said. I'm saying they must implement it as it is. But I also don't recall previously where points were allocated to opposition when it comes to matters of under 23.
Yeah.
I remember, I think even it was last season, Mbobela, before the case of eligibility of the player that they played.
Yeah, is this the Sporting?
Yeah, they had a
last season.
Yeah, they had a point docked.
Yeah,
for under 23. You remember that case?
It will be very interesting to.
Yes.
It's an interesting scenario.
Yes. But also I don't recall maybe as well opposition having played a game under protest.
Yeah.
Because they know.
Yeah.
Because in the case of Sekhukhune, the coach was coming from Polokwane.
Yes.
So he knew.
So he knows very well what happened.
It will be interesting to know the reasons advanced by Polokwane City as to why those players could not be fielded.
Apparently they are claiming that it's got to do with COVID.
It's interesting because when you've got COVID, you've got 14 days.
Yes.
14 days in quarantine.
Yeah, but no. The issue is Cape Moya couldn't honor a fixture.
Yeah.
And they cried COVID.
Yeah.
And the points were docked from them.
Yeah. What's different with Polokwane City?
No, the difference with Polokwane City, they honored the fixture.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cape Moya didn't honor the fixture.
Didn't honor the fixture.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's
there are loopholes.
There are loopholes.
I guess it's open to interpretation.
It's very important not to be in violation of your own rules and regulations.
Also, why is it? When did this happen? Really?
Second week, in fact, first weekend of the year.
Of year. So this thing could have been sorted out then.
Long time ago. That's why at the beginning when we were starting, we've been complaining about the same thing at the PSL and how these cases are being handled and how they are allowed to drag. And now this is why now it's seen as a league that there's just lawlessness.
Yeah, it's like you're holding on this ace up your sleeve.
Yeah,
you're waiting to use it at the end of the season.
And remember, Sekhukhune watched the protest.
Yeah,
understand?
Man.
And it is not up to them to
decide,
to make sure that the matter
is concluded. Yeah,
the people in charge of that process doing it.
Hey, the PSI. Let's move on, guys. Otherwise,
Stay at home.
Asambi. Askaleng is Jiwe. Chiefs, but they are through. So what you got?
Yeah, a good match for Simba.
Yeah,
right.
They showed up.
Yeah, the application was good from their side compared to what they did when they were home.
Yeah,
I think when they came here, they were deceived by the position of Chiefs in the domestic league where they were.
Yeah,
compared to what was supposed to be done in the CAF.
Yeah,
Simba showed up on this time. They made sure that they play their game, even though they were sitting on the back foot.
Yeah,
they were sitting on the back foot because Chiefs, what they were supposed to do is they had no business to try and attack Simba. Simba needed the goals. Chiefs needed to play the game. So with Chiefs playing the game, it was going to frustrate Simba to open up more gaps at the back and also giving them freedom to express themselves more. So they shouldn't have pressed the panic button for them to concede those 3 goals. But what led to them to concede those 3 goals? You look at the first time when they were here, Simba played 4-3-2-1, right?
Yeah.
When they played home, they changed the system to a 4-4-2.
Yeah.
What does it mean? It means there was more firepower, which is the application was there 2 strikers. They consolidated the middle. So that means they tried to hide Castro from being available. So a quick press in the middle didn't allow them to be more creative than they were in the first leg when they played at home.
Yeah.
That when they created those lines, they made sure that Chiefs don't penetrate them and then they don't find the same spaces that they have in allowing crosses.
Yeah.
Because if you look at it, the amount of attempts that Chiefs had were far lesser than what Simba had. Because if you're looking at the goals, they scored at 24 minutes. What does it say? They needed the goals. They needed to make sure that they get the first one to break the ice so that they put Chiefs under pressure. But Chiefs, again, they were not under pressure, as I'm saying.
Yeah.
Because they had 4 goals as a cushion. But that becomes a problem now. It shows an indiscipline in a team. You structure the team well. In my case, you have maybe started with more players that are going to be hungry and try to harass Simba. In their back four. Because already they've planned for your Nikovic, your Castro, how are they going to play? So put somebody else that's going to have a different dimension so that the full attention will be on Castro, but this one will pop. Now, the goals as they came, 24 minutes, 56 minutes. Before halftime, Crystal faces again. Just after halftime, 10 minutes after 56 minutes, there was another goal. And right almost at the end, 86 minutes, Chama scored another one. Again, lapse of concentration also there. Maybe the plan was just to not attack now, sit back. But now, was their defense strong enough? I doubt it was. They were just lucky that they escaped this one.
They like it too.
Simba tried to climb Mountain Kilimanjaro. They were almost getting to the summit. And the weather conditions,
two big saves
by Vuma.
The weather conditions didn't permit them. But again, it comes back to you must maximize home advantage. Make sure it works
finish
for
the
you.
game at home.
Finish the game at home. But again, the applicability, I think this competition will go a long way in helping the likes of Chiefs, Pirates, Sundowns already there to grow and learn how to manage these games. You have got 4 goals in the bag. How do you structure the team? This is what demands that now you have players that should play for the team other than playing for the result. Because when a team players are playing for the team, their structure, their positional play, the structure, the shape of the team is compact. It's compact. You don't need to rush to attack when you already have the advantage. If you happen to watch the game of Sundowns, Al Hatli, you would observe that in the middle when Al Hatli was having the ball, they would spread the ball across the middle of the pitch. In that moment, they are buying time. They are getting a breather. They are opening their lungs up, giving time to the wingers to get into those flanks. And when they are ready, they go on that counter. So it was not slow. They were not slowing out the game. They were just spreading out and getting all those. So that's what Chiefs you need to do. You need to frustrate Simba because they need the goal. They need the ball. They cannot score the goal without the ball.
So the game plan was not kosher.
You know what Tim is saying? At some moment, fortunately, I was watching both. The other one was on TV and the other one was on the screen. And one thing I noticed, Chiefs was sitting. But whilst they were still sitting, the passing lines were there. Simba was moving the ball easily in the lines. But this side, when I look at Ali, Sundowns is trying to move the ball in between the lines.
There's a difference between defending and having numbers behind the
ball.
Exactly.
Now, when you are defending, you make it difficult for that to get in behind the lines. But there's the instance that where coaches will tell players get behind the ball. Surely they will get behind the ball, but they will not know what to do.
But for me, it was a classical example of looking at quality. You understand? I could see the difference in quality between Chiefs and Ali. In how, because the intensity in which Sundowns and Simba were attacking, it was the same. But the execution, totally different.
You see, there are so many, we can talk the whole night about football, how to move and everything like that. But it's interesting. If you watch Al Hatli, when the likes of Ngenge have the ball in the pitch, he's shielding that ball, giving chance for the right back to get over. That's an overlap.
And
and then he's gonna leave that ball. Now,
beast.
In our country here, South Africa. Sometimes we run headless chicken. We even overtake the player with the ball. We go ahead of him. He has no option.
Did you see?
He did.
Did you see Chiefs? And this is where I felt like you are saying now. Chiefs had no business starting the game with 2 strikers. They're no business.
Yeah.
And for me, the best approach for Chiefs on the day, because one thing that I saw with how they started there, they had Bloom.
Yeah.
And having Bloom alongside him, it was Parker
On the middle.
the middle.
Yeah.
You notice that?
Yeah.
You know, and now in terms of the pressure, there's Parker. And I mean, when they were pressed, where they should have started maybe a Katane.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
because the young men were saying at in the early game they had Young. In the position that I had Young Chiefs had. And Blom, this is where it's required to have a 6-6.
Yeah.
In a
Consolidate.
way,
Exactly.
in a way, you could think that having won the game 4-0 in FNB,
Yeah.
I think Chiefs underestimated Simba. They thought they were weak team,
Yeah.
and when they go to Tanzania, they're going to outplay them. You know,
Same game plan.
You know, there are certain things that happen in football. You know, you know, from my school of football, my mentor tell us you need to coach yourselves. And when you interact with players of Sundowns under the likes of PITSO money, he took more time encouraging these players to go and view games and come back and report about those games. So he's teaching these players to coach themselves in the field of play. Because when you're in the field of play, the stadium is packed, you're not going to hear, even when I'm calling your name, to tell you this and this or to remind you. So in that moment, is that moment when as players, you come together to find a solution, not firing what the coach has said, but to provide a solution before you get the coach's instruction. That understanding has to be there between the coach and the players so that the coach doesn't feel undermined or the players don't doing their own things. Because they are two different things. For example, you are conceding a goal in the 24th minute. It means you're giving the home team the momentum to believe.
Correct.
They can get more.
What do you do if you feel you're not containing them? You know, try to hold the attack. Don't completely sit back. That deep block is always dangerous because you're gonna have a midfielder pretending to defend, but it's actually just adding numbers but not defending.
Exactly. Because see here, that is why one of the first subs was Zulu. You know, because they had Louis Mikuson on the other side, and the Triple C Chama was coming on the right channel, and the way they were targeting those fullbacks, also because there was no.
Yeah. Because they play 3 at the back.
Yes.
Why?
You know,
Away, they play 3 at the back.
you know, there was no cover.
So you change formation.
And this, I've never seen Red Lab exposed like that.
You see, football is the easiest game complicated by tacticians.
Yeah.
You know, the tactics of these tacticians confuse players. It is simple. You know, I can assure you that no player can defend the one.
Yeah.
You can only delay it.
Yeah.
You can only delay it by positional play. So 1-2 is basic. But any player, any team that's going to play 1-2, you cannot chase a 1. So you delay it. Those are basics. Now, there are certain basics that you know that as a central defender or defenders, you are playing out, your immediate interest should not go across the center line.
Yeah.
Just be at the arc and observe.
Yes.
Conserve the energy.
And now,
energy.
And now
Tactical.
it also means that because if you have Froster and you have Zulu occupied like that, you are also not going to have the service to the two twin towers up front.
Cross won't come in.
Yeah, understand?
Because they are busy defending.
And that's why Manyama was also one of the first players to beat, because they also dealt with him.
Yeah.
You know? So for me, look, I just think Chiefs were saved by the win.
Yeah.
Because all they needed there, in fact, these guys didn't need to even score 5. They needed to score 4, take the game to penalties.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then it's a lot.
And like you
because that's what Esperance did on the other side against Real Belouizdad.
Yeah.
But but I think now it's history.
Yeah.
It's history now. Chiefs is in
We
the
should say
semifinals.
congratulations.
Yes, I see all the noise coming from Dar es Salaam. That they played well, but it's not about playing well. This is a
results.
next season, Simba. Bye. Simba.
All right.
It brings in the question: is it best to top the group? Oh,
good thing.
I think that is the question.
Hold on, we're coming
for another.
It ties into.
We have callers. Caller on the line. Who's joining us?
Hi, good evening, guys. It's PITSO in Ramsey.
Hi, PITSO. Welcome.
Just want to say, interesting discussion there, and the guys are just due to relay Timothy as well as Calvin. But as you know, I'm a Kaizer Chiefs fan.
Wow, we're talking about you. Welcome.
Yeah, I'm a Kaizer Chiefs fan, and first, let me say congratulations to the boys, as well as the coach.
Correct.
At least been through semi-finals, but yeah, there's still a lot of question marks as you guys are talking about.
You never have.
I mean, we it's one of those things that you're happy that you are through, but I mean, the way we go through this and looking at what's coming up next in terms of weight, I'm not sure what we have in our arsenal in terms of even our technical team to really give us hope that we can actually go through to the final. Because I mean, if you look at that game on Saturday, for me, my thinking is, if the plan was to say we're going to defend, yes, you got so many players there at the back that you're defending with, at least do the best job of it and do good job of it. And because if what I saw on Saturday, honestly, I think it was one of the worst defensive setup that I've seen. It was almost like one of those teams that, because this is one other problem that we had with Chiefs. We have two teams, the one that plays in the DSTV Premiership and the one that plays in CAF.
True.
And we've always seen that the one that plays in CAF, they show more character, they try to fight.
Yeah.
They're more organized. The one that plays in the DSTV Premiership, it's almost like the side of the team that plays in CAF.
Do you think Chiefs was complacent? Do you think, knowing that they have a four goal lead, do you think they were complacent going into the second leg?
Definitely.
For me, to be complacent is Kaizer Chiefs against him, but I think it would be, I don't know if it's not ignorance, I think it would be pure foolishness, honestly. I mean, yes, you won against
convincingly,
convincingly, right? But I mean, truth be told, that was one of the best performances we've seen in so many games that the Chiefs have played, and they haven't been able to replicate those performances game after game. So, I mean, I told you that last time that one swallow doesn't make a summer. You can't win one game convincingly until you have turned the corner.
Yeah.
You have to be consistent. So for me, to be complacent against such a good, I mean, we still say Simba is such a good side. I mean, leading up to that game against Kaizer Chiefs at FNB, they had only lost one game, 18 matches, which was against Ali. So, I mean, we deserve the win, but I mean, we couldn't to be complacent and think, okay, now these guys are not the team that we know them to be. So I think the game plan was just wrong on day. But again, also you're looking at the coach. The coach, for me, they didn't have a plan. I mean, the plan, if the plan was there, it was such a poor plan because I mean, you could see the coach is panicking as well. This is the person that's supposed to provide inspiration, sanity, and leadership, so that the players can see, okay, we got this. But you can see the way he's shouting. He's also just panicking. So at the end, I saw a team that was just panicking throughout the pitch, and they didn't know what they were doing. They were almost on goals from Gazan and Matoho. It was just madness. So
okay, let's wrap it up. So your journey ends with Wydad Casablanca.
You say? I didn't say, because this is football. I mean, the fact that we are here, and I don't think anyone would have thought we could get here. I mean, anything is possible, but I think the way we are playing, I almost got a heart attack on Saturday, because now, I mean, you're looking at this team, they're coming at all ends, and it's like 86 minutes, 85 minutes scoring goals, and you're thinking, should they get a fourth goal? This team has penalties. Yes. Now it's like you lost the execution that you had, and you end up going on a 50-50 lottery penalty again. So it was 10. I mean, you're happy that the team is winning. But you know what? The way it's done for me, it doesn't instill any confidence and hope at all. But anyway, all the best, and let's hope they do well in the upcoming games. Like it's football, anything is possible.
All right, thank you, sir.
I'm glad you finished the game. 90 minutes. Watch it.
He almost has a thing.
No, let me tell you, when it comes to playing Wydad, you know, you have to bring your A game.
Correct.
You either have to play smart, you know, at that stage you rather play, you know, this unattractive, unappreciated football in South Africa and get the result.
Yes.
If you try to go and impress, you know, they are smart enough.
Yes.
They're smart enough. They know
Tim,
how to play result.
Tim, I like what you say, because there's something they talk about it, especially on social media these days, talk about mad football, and football is results. Football is about results.
We don't remember the second best.
Exactly. And you cannot tell me, I remember how Pirates won the Champions Cup in 1995. In 30 to 40 years' time now, people will not be talking about how Sundowns won the 2016 Champions League.
Yeah.
They will say Sundowns were champions in 2016. They will say Pirates were in 2013. No one will remember how they were playing. You know? And yes, as much as we understand that, we all have good football. I like good football. Yeah. But sometimes we've got to be realistic.
Result.
Good push. But
I think in this case of Chiefs, I think they are working hard behind the scenes to make sure that Kama and Zuma are available for the semifinals. And
really
the
interesting.
semifinals is almost a month
to
the semifinals. So I think they'll be back by then.
Yeah.
And I think we'll be returning back from the international week.
Yeah.
And obviously our league would have closed on the first weekend of next month.
Yeah.
So Chiefs, the attack will be boosted by the time they came back. But it's going to be very interesting, because the last time they couldn't go to Casablanca.
Yeah.
But now, as you saw, Orlando Pirates was in Casablanca, so they'll go to Casablanca this time around.
True.
But the second leg is here.
Yeah.
So it means that technically, they've got to be sure
to be astute. They need to play for the result. You know, you need to play for the result. There's an assumption that you need to score an away goal. It's not a must. Play for a result. Even if you get 1-0,
something.
1-1, you know, you try to moderate your game. And for me, the best way to win games is to understand the caliber of players you have and understand what they can give you over and above. And then you structure your team, you prepare a team according to the strength of your team. Yeah. And that's very key, because you're going to respect the opponent, analyze them, how good they are, and try to plan how to utilize them. Good players don't be marked, to be harassed and kicked around. You understand? You do that. No good player can mark. Yeah. Those are few. Yeah. Those are few players. There are few complete players where you get a complete player in the likes of Suarez, where he's gonna kick you and then score goals. Those are few. Yeah. So you understand those areas. Once you get that, and then you know when I was playing, you'd hear a striker saying, "Give me the ball, give me the ball." You know, sometimes you smile, because when you're out of position, you are reminded by the striker that come back in the position. So because it's alerting me. Yeah. So the talking should be less. Right. You know, the social media is a problem. Concentrate on what you can give and make sure you do well. Yeah. And the results will come. Yeah, people on social media, they will not be celebrating good football or mad football.
Yeah, they want results.
They want results. Yeah. But I think there's only one good thing that Chiefs, now that they are through Simba. Yeah. That they don't really now. It just in Casablanca, they don't have to worry about the 4-4-2. Yeah. If you know what I mean. All right. Sorry, guys. You know the 4-4-2. We promised guys we take their calls. 4-4-2. Yeah. Tim, yes. You know the 4-4-2. Oh, 4-4-2. It will never change. 4-4-2 on the line. You have a minute. Yeah.
Thank you. My name is maybe I'm calling from Midrand.
Yes,
hi to your panelist, Velile. So
yes, sir.
Game against Al Ahly was before then, I'd like to congratulate Kaizer Chiefs for going through. They must use this as a learning curve experience, and they must make sure next year, because next year they're not going to play CAF. The year after next, the season after next, they must qualify so that it will be useless to learn and you don't go back the following year. That's what we need. I'm not sure if they will need, but I wish them all the best. So coming to Sundowns, I think we lost the game in Egypt. That 2-0. It was very heavy. The mistake that we made last 10 minutes by so I think it was a blow. That was the killer for us. If the score was 1-0, I believe we could have came back in and nevertheless we lost, and we'll try again next year. I know Sundowns fans, they say they hate that way that we will try next year. We've been saying that for past 4 years, but we don't have to. We have to. However, we must do it differently as time. We must do a serious introspection to ourselves and say, look, we always in quarterfinals. I think the past 6 years we played quarterfinal, semifinals twice, if I'm not mistaken, and quarterfinals about 4 times. So I think he put it very, very well in post-match interview when he said we top 8 of Africa, which I believe top 8 of Africa. But we find difficulties into breaking into top 4. Top 4, the regular guys like Al-Ahly, your Esperance, your Wydad. I'll also include your Mazembe. I know they had a bad season this year, and also Raza Casablanca is going to come very strong next year. Raza Casablanca in Zamalek. So we need to look at ourselves and ask ourselves why. Why are we always scratching on the top 4, but we're not getting through? Because with the resources that we have as Sundowns, I believe in past 7 years we should have won CAF Champions League twice
by now,
at least. By now, and we should play at least in cup finals, whether winning it or not winning it, every 2 years, if not every 3 years. Sundowns. So we need to look at it. If it's an issue of experienced coaches, which I suspect might be, we need to look outside. We need to look at the experienced people like your Rene Werner, your Gabe, your Petrus Carton. We need to look that far because the league, it's a given. I mean, Sundowns have to be either number 1 or number 2 every year in year out with the resources that we have, and we're very comfortable with the league because we win it all the time anyway. So for me, I think we need to sit down and do analysis of inspection. However, we'll give our coaches another year, another season to try again next year, because they've been with PITSO for past 6 years, 7 years. Manova and Rulani, he went to Paris, but he came back. So they have experience, to in Africa. I know Peter said he did that alone. I don't believe it. No one can do things alone. CEOs don't run companies alone. They run with executives and the staff of the company. So Manova made contribution and Rulani, and they have experience. So they must show it. I think next year, let's give them a chance and see if they will deliver. I'm not saying they must win CAF, but if they can play in the finals, for me, we'll be happy. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay.
So
can't take all calls.
We're in Swane now.
Yes, we're in
Very
Pretoria
interesting.
now. We are in
I
Pretoria
think what happened at the Sundowns game, before the game, to me, it appeared to be something well orchestrated. True. And I think the aim was not really targeting Al Ali. The aim was to embarrass coach, embarrass the coach also in front of his bosses and his teammates, in fact, and his technical team and his players. And when you listen to the coach talking about it, it tells you, if I can take you back to his comments, Fidel, if you remember what he said, on the night he won the league title, his last title with Sundowns, and how difficult that bio bubble has been for him, what he had been subjected to. And I think very few people also know that just a few days before Al Ali came with the offer, the coach was prepared to leave behind a 4-year contract, on which the ink was not even dry. He had just in 2-3 weeks he had signed that new contract, and he was prepared to walk away from that contract even without a job. You know, so and then when you check the statement that was released today by his management team, you can see that the problems here are deep rooted. There's some deep scars.
True.
And when he says post match, this is not just about the supporters, it's people there at the office.
Head office, he said.
And then you read the Sundowns statement. There's not a single mention of the man who was insulted by the supporters of Sundowns, whose mother was also insulted, you know, and embarrassed.
True. That was the aim.
You know? So here, I think the club still needs, the club still owes the coach a proper apology, not what they wrote there. And I think maybe for me the fitting statement was the one that was released by SAFA.
Yeah. And
people must understand this within the context that SAFA has released that statement. SAFA is the host in this case, in terms of hosting the game.
True.
And SAFA, this is a coach who their product, who is also an ambassador
of the country.
Yeah. This is the only coach who's coaching at the very highest level outside the country. Okay, take nothing away from Coach Thabo Snow.
You know,
and yes, exactly. So I think for me, these allegations, especially a club which no matter how we look at it, this is the club that is linked to the current CAF president.
Yeah,
huge link.
You know,
big link.
So for
them to
for this to be done
to
a coach who is currently an African champion. You understand what I mean?
It was a personal attack.
When all these happenings are taking shape, and one, it shows that we are very intolerant. We are less appreciative of any other person's work. If you look at the achievement of Coach PITSO's money at Sundowns, even if what he's saying is true, the same people benefited from the results that were achieved, whether it's in a corrective or him as being the leader. They became to be known as good administrators because of the results. I would have expected the least is just to welcome him and show that respect, the contribution he has made to the brand of Sundowns. Now, we have traveled across the African continent. We know the hostility that is given to the opponent team. But this is in the period of the bubble. So that reasoning goes out of the way. And it gives credit now to what Coach PITSO is saying. They don't let me go. They should let me go. Now, when you look at Coach PITSO's money, one, he has opened the door for so many South African coaches who dream to further their coaching careers in the tentacles of the African continent. Be it Egypt, be it Uganda, be it Lesotho, anywhere. Because there is one successful success story in PITSO. So you need to brand and look after that. There is need to have that token of appreciation. When he was asked his comment about Gavin Hunt, he made a very interesting comment. We have been there. We know how to win games. What is he trying to say? After the game, don't talk before the game. Games are won on the field of play. Talking is for the fans, the technical team and the players. We do our talking on the field of play.
It's interesting because you are talking about Gavin Hunt and Coach PITSO, and these are the most successful coaches in the country. And now they'll be meeting, even though they'll not be biggest, but it's ironic that Gavin has been struggling here at home, but he has steered the ship to where it is now. And they are in the and I think for me, I hope that South African football is not looking at this lightly. That two of its products are in the CAF Champions League semi-finals.
The highest position.
You understand what I mean?
You see, on the rest of Africa, on the African continent, we have experienced the scenario where when you get national team players, funds support club players instead of the national team.
Yes, yes.
And this is where it's cropping in. You are seeing PITSO Al-Hatli, and people believe that he's Egyptian now.
Yes.
Yet he's one of our own in South Africa.
Yes.
There has to be that evidence. Whether he's the greatest ambassador the country can have. Every time they mention his name, there is a mention of South Africa as a country.
Yeah, correct.
So the country, the leadership of the country has to take pride in that.
Yeah.
And that's how you grow the brand. And then you manufacture so many of the kind. He took the responsibility to say, can I have Coach Makoba Mbete as my assistant? Rulanda as my assistant. In Egypt, he didn't do anything different. He took Gavin with him. So that's the kind of personality the person of PITSO is. So we need to appreciate that kindness, and not look at what we want to advance. I think South African football is greater in the name of PITSO Mosimane than any other person.
Yeah.
So
I think it's for Sundowns fans. They should be ashamed for what they did, for what the man has done for them, and I think they should have behaved in a more welcoming manner, considering the fact that where PITSO took the team and what he has brought into the table. So now, even being given blessings by the president to further his career by going to Egypt, now to get such a welcome from your own, it was very painful to see. I can imagine as a coach, let's talk about a player. If it happens to a player without resources, how would we cope with this? Because this means it can end a player's career, because not many players could stomach what PITSO can. It shows the man's mentality and how strong he is, because even you could hear on the video that was playing, no, it's okay, just go on, go on, just drive, it's fine, because he understands. Sometimes as fans, we should be small-minded. We should have a bigger picture in mind and understand that yes, it's a game of emotions, but you need to understand it's a competition at the end of the day.
Yeah, but Soso, here, Sos, we need to also defend the fans. They are pawns in a game here.
Yeah.
Not all the fans, actually. We need to correct that.
Yes, some of the fans, but even involved. You know what? There's a saying, they say you must hit the dog until the owner comes out. And when the coach himself says that, people at the office.
Yeah.
And then you have to ask yourself, who sent those fans to do that?
Yeah. But it's so unlikely that fans welcome the idea to be used as a pawn. And
we're not talking to you about this in the dark.
No,
we are not trying to search for the truth in the dark.
Yeah.
If you have been in football long enough, when you have been in football long enough,
yes,
I can say for a fact that most club owners or management don't normally want to fire the coach. They always find a reason to fire the coach. Normally, they will choose a few players to say the tactics are not this, and this. The players don't like the coach and everything like that. But when it's coming from a certain section,
yes,
that they won't come out and say, no, we are firing you because we are not happy with the results. No, they will say, no, the players, they create that scenario. So it's not any different now. PITSO has been long in the game to understand that yes, it's happening.
Yeah.
Because it's not a difficult case to adjourn, because what is happening is he says he has received messages, emails, and he said it's coming from the office. So for me, that's not a problem. But what is important now is, you alluded to something that is very interesting. Coach PITSO is experiencing this, but I'm telling you, players have been experiencing this, and some have not been able to come out of it. Because it's going to affect them. I think it's very important that when we have the mouthpiece to try and educate the fans, listen, football is a business. A player is your player when he's with your club. If he makes a decision to go, sometimes actually clubs sell the players, but they don't say that they sold the player. So they claim the player wanted to go. But in actual sense, it's making the financial decision. Let that player join the other club to benefit and run the business, but it's not communicated. So the player pays the price for that. So I think there is need to try and educate the fan to understand that even when we are competing, it is still business. The business decisions. The reason why I've had fans complaining about Kaizer Chiefs buying players out of contract, that is smart business because you're not paying anything to buy cost, but you're still getting a quality player who's going to deliver. So there's no need to go and pay 20 million when you can get a player of 2 million and still get result that a 20 million player is playing. So that's smart. So that education has to continue until we all come to one understanding that yes, that's a business decision.
Okay, caller on the line. Who's joining us? You have a minute, sir.
Good evening, gentlemen. This is Pro calling from Devon.
Hi, Pro.
Sure, Pro.
I don't want to talk about Sundowns politics.
Why not?
But,
why not?
But,
Pro, why not?
You have an interesting story, Pro. I know you. I trust you, Pro.
Davi always preach about managing information. So I'm trying to.
No. I'm with you there.
Right, let's hear you, sir.
Right. I just want to ask a quick question to the gentleman. I think this is the third season in a row where Sundowns failed in the quarterfinal stage of the competition. Is it a coaching issue? Is it a preparation issue, or is it a quality issue when it comes to players? Because you cannot fail at the same stage for 2 or 3 seasons in a row. It means something is wrong somewhere. I know that the coaches they look a little bit. I don't know how you get confused, but in the absence of a better word, I'll use the word confused because I heard the coach Mangoba saying that maybe next season they should consider finishing second in the mini group so that they can start at home. I think it was a little bit of an unfortunate comment, but just want to from you guys, do you think it's a quality issue, a coaching issue, or what's the issue? What's the problem with Sundowns failing to progress?
Before the gentleman come in, I'll ask you. The coach that was there in the past 3 years has gone through to the semifinals with a different team. Does that change anything from your question?
I do have my perspective, but I wanted to ask the experts. But my perspective, here's my perspective.
Okay.
He's coaching. He's spending less time coaching the technique, spending less time emphasizing on tactics. The players know what to do. They are developed. He's not worried about the player failing to play a cross. He knows that if a right back goes forward, the cross lands in the box, not behind the poles. He knows that when the player crosses the ball, there's an 80% of finding a target. He knows that when the ball is played in the air in this box, he knows his defenders can clear. So those are the differences that I've seen there with the Al-Ahly team. Hence, he was happy that Sundowns played Afonso, and he knew that his players were going to deal with all those aerial balls. He was happy with the Peter Sharulile in the post because his big boys were dealing with him. So in terms of my perspective, the quality of the players has a role to play. But I just want to hear what our experts has to say on the matter. Thank you.
Thank you.
So Pro is saying it's quality.
Quality.
And I think this is something that we've said for a very long time. And I think for me, if we are to look and point at BafANA's failure to qualify for the AFCON, even though I still feel that in our group we should have came out. If you look at the performances, especially the two teams that were away, and you must look at, and then you look at Sundowns and you say the majority of these players are players who make up BafANA.
Yeah, true.
You know, but I think this one, what Pro is talking about, I take it to the Paris game yesterday, you know, and I look at their approach on the road, you know, and you look at the chances that they had that they couldn't take, and you look at the chances that Raja scored. Raja had half chances, converted them, you know. But I think in the case of Sundowns, because Sundowns has been playing around the space of the last 8, I think since 2016, they've only been to, after 2016, they've only been to the semifinals once. Yeah. Otherwise, they've been in the quarterfinals. And I think it's just a simple matter of quality. I
beg to differ.
Pound for pound, I feel that you must look. You know, I've been watching, especially since Coach moved that side. I've been watching not just Al Ali or Zamalek matches. I've been watching a lot of Egyptian football Premier League matches, and also I've been watching the Botola Pro League as well. And there are times where I'm counting. I know Coach Zippo, he taught me this. He counts, Coach Zippo, he counts how many times the ball comes outside. You understand?
Very important.
You know, and how many times how many times the ball is on the pitch. And this is one that I've noticed. The ball is on the pitch in with the North African teams most of the time, more than it is here.
Okay,
you understand? So I mean, if I look on what is talking about, and Coach PITSO spoke about this in the post match. In fact, in the match day -1, you know, he said they are prepared. They are prepared for any eventualities. And he also said they've prepared also. Don't worry, the 10 is coming. For set plays. You understand? Because and he was counting, he said he knows that Sundowns has got Morena, has got Jali, has got Mkulise, has got Serino, has got Modiba, and all those players are
height-wise.
And did you see that goal?
And you know,
I mean,
you have answered me.
Ibrahim was just flying along.
No, you know, when they say you called it what?
Mad football.
No, the skill. I beg to differ. I think when it comes to pound for pound, the quality. I think the quality is there. It is the purpose and the urgency to reach to the promised land.
But Tim, you can have the quality.
No, because
is this
okay?
We can both qualities.
I think
but your quality could be different.
Let me explain to you something. When you get an Al-Hatmi player, in a moment to release the ball, he's going to release it. He won't turn around with the ball. The skill is there. It is the urgency and the purpose. Small attention to detail on the field of play.
This is the quality Pro is talking about.
You see, when
it's not the quality that you're born with.
Yes, but
teachable one.
Okay. Yes, that's what I'm saying. When it comes to the flair and passing, everything like that, they were doing well. There's one element
that's Sundowns.
Yes, there's one element. There's one element that no one spoke that was so good with Al-Hatmi, and this culminated in punishing Sundowns. It was the simplest, highest level of anticipation where Sundowns players are gonna pass that ball. It was the interception of that ball. And Sundowns players fed on that interception that were always being punished. So the next pass was a 10-meter pass, keep it in the midfield, let's see if they can run back to defend it. Then Al-Hatmi bought time. They managed to play the weather conditions. Now, what am I saying? I'm saying South Africa. Sundowns right now is on the top of the league. Why? Because of their continuous participation in African Champions League.
Correct.
if more teams participate, this league is going to change. Because
100%.
their execution, when Sundowns is playing around, passing around the ball, opponents are dropping off.
Yes.
They don't go. African players, especially defenders, they don't like to be dribbled. Because elephants are going to say Chibobo and everything, they're going to laugh. Even a defender is going to backpedal.
Yeah.
A defender, you can be dribbled 10 times, provided in the ball in the 11th time. I'm happy. You can turn me, it's fine. As long as I eventually win the ball.
Yeah.
In this country, players back off. They turn off. Because even their teammates are going to laugh at them, they dribble them. So those are small things that need to be changed. You're going to, when Coach PITSO says, you took out Morena, I was happy. You took out Serena, I was happy. The reason why you lost in Egypt,
and the creativity. Yeah.
you took Serena. Serena, even when he's off color, is going to attract 2 players to mark him. He's creating space somewhere else. Moreno's pace, his work ethic is good enough to make sure that the right back of Al-Hatli or the left back cannot move upfield. The moment you take them out, they know, okay, you want to attack. What was Hartley doing? They were dropping back. You enjoy pole position. You enjoy. By the time you are reaching about the last quarter, they intercept that ball. They take you back. When you win the ball, what do? You try to possess it because you are catching a breather. They go back. That's how they play the game. So as the game went on, they were happy. And that's how, at least in the semifinals, are not Sundowns.
So
yeah.
Really. Let's hear you.
I think on to answer Pro, one of the issues with the Sundowns that I've picked up when they went into this competition, it was more about being on the tactical side, knowing when to be, what time, and how to use the ball on what area.
Yeah.
Yes, the technique we have, skill we have, yes, all of that. But now, remember, the preparation is different. You need to work more when you're playing these African teams, more on the tactical side. What Ali did was, they made sure that they play Sundowns to the most uncomfortable spaces. And every time when they get into those zones, they will make sure that they maintain the highest level of concentration, not to lose the ball there, because why? They are disadvantaged when it comes to speed. All right?
Yeah.
They are disadvantaged when it comes to the skill part. But the technique, they are superior than the tactical part of the game. That's what won them the game, because we would be happy to maintain ball position. You hear people saying 86, 90%.
Yeah.
Where?
In the wrong area.
Where is
areas?
But now,
hurting the opponent.
Now you look at it in our country. In our country, when you look at the DSTV, teams are having ball position on their own half. We clap. Fine. But did you score? No.
Yeah.
They played entertaining football where? On their own half.
Jan Olderink. Hey, he's playing good football. Where is he now?
No.
The question is, for every pass, there has to be a message. Why are you possessing the ball?
Yeah.
There has to be a reason. Are you giving your strikers time to recover? You know,
is the pass intentional?
Now
this pass should inform the receiver that this is what I intend you to do.
Yes. Now this is the thing. When you have ball position, this is the message that you send to another team, or you as a team that is occupying position. It's for you having position to move players from the original position that they are in, so then you can find spaces. You don't just possess the ball. So when Ali delayed the play to go forward, or when they delayed to press them on a counter press, because PITSO would have done that. But his game management was what? Don't press them high. It's okay. Let them play. Let them be complacent and trying to come out. But once they get to the last quarter, this is where we start becoming aggressive. 1-2 passes, it's enough for us to get into the next zone. But what would Sundowns do? You build and build and build, and you don't have a sense of agency. And again, when you start being frustrated, you need a goal. If Ali gets the next one, they bury you. So that becomes the difference and the matchmaker on this point. Now, on our players, you find it in our league. You get players being in position that's going to help an opponent. in the corner dribbling a player. I can just send one there to cover that space.
Yeah.
At some point, you find that in our country, just needs to have one player managing two players. Why? You put them outside of the danger zone. But if players can find passing lanes and make runs into half spaces, they become dangerous. This is what PITSO has been saying or emphasizing, or if you would have watched, even on the first game, they work on spaces and the margins of error that were created by Sundowns killed them.
And this is where I agree with Tim to say, maybe we need more teams participating and regularly making it to the group stages at least. Because group stages and the knockout phase is where the quality is. And then you are testing, because it means that if you've got all the 4 clubs like we had now, in fact with 3 now, if you have 4 clubs, you know that, okay, not all the players are South African in those clubs, but at least with a squad of 40 players that each team registers. You now have if all the 4 teams make it to the group stages, at least you have not less than 60 players. You understand that the national team push a pool of 60 players to choose from who are exposed to football at that level. And then if you remember that the likes of Kick and Dolly, the likes of Bongani Zungu, Pesitau, the likes of Munetsi, you know, they were coming from this league when they got contracts in Europe. You understand?
It's absolutely a very good marketing, marketing platform.
Because at this level, for instance, Kaizer Chiefs players, they've been exposed to the market in Europe, in Asia, because this is the stage of the tournament that is broadcast to all over the world. To South America, to North America, to Europe, to Asia, to Australasia. You know, so I mean, we were having an interview with Jessica last week. She was saying she's never seen something like this commercially. You know, in terms of the brand of the club, the exposure, and in terms of the opportunities, the possibility of
massive.
multinational sponsors.
And also players
the sponsors that they are talking to because of the brand exposure. This is not the exposure to the local market. No, this is to the global market.
And with the marketing team of Kaizer Chiefs,
exactly.
Just watch the space for the rewards.
You know, that's what she was saying last week on the record. You know, to say what their participation and their progress in the Champions League has done to the brand is something that's unprecedented. You know, so I'm trying to say here, as much as we're talking about quality on the pitch, but also off the pitch,
plays a role.
You know, but there is a mindset shift that is needed for us, especially and I think now I'm glad that Chiefs lost 3-0. And they lost in the fashion that they lost because Chiefs fans, when they saw Simba in the first leg, they thought,
it was
you could see their quality. You understand? You could see their quality.
And you see, this opens now the mind of the South African fan to know that football on the African continent is very serious. The team may appear here, but they may not be very well dressed with all the things you see in the DSTV Premier League. But these players mean business. They don't have the fields that are well tended. They don't be in the hotel as pre-match but they'll come and compete. That's the reality. And there's that mind shift from the players here to understand that you need to compete. You need to go on the field of play and fight for the little on the field of play. And in doing so, your quality gets better. The competitive edge of the team gets better. For me, next season is going to be very interesting because so many teams have played and participated on the African continent. Many are joining the race. It's going to be very interesting for the DSTV Premier League next season.
Just last one to add. I think this was very good for a South African brand. And in players and coaches, characters was built on this.
Definitely.
Character was built because those players that competed at that level, now are a different kind of players. It would be easy for most. That's why with Sundowns players, if they can move anyway, being through to semifinals and winning this cup, it becomes easier to gel when you go to a foreign league because this puts you onto that market.
And this is why we must understand that the profile of the players that Sundowns sign is not the profile that you will expect to see. They signed a lot of PSL players in this window for this season. Don't expect them to sign PSL players again. Because there's a bigger challenge for them
at hand.
There's a bigger challenge for them. And I always say this: if you look at and people didn't understand this thing in the context that I put it last time, that Sundowns in the market, they're not gonna spend less than 50 million.
Yeah.
Understand?
They have joined the league.
Yes, because they are competing against
huge budget.
Al-Ahly can spend 50 million on one player.
Al-Ahly gets players from Europe. I remember it was Ramadan Sobi.
Yes, Sobi, they got Baji.
For me, one thing that Sundowns has to learn in this failure is to recognize the seniority of their senior players. You cannot tell me that you're going to play Al-Ahly and Kekana cannot find a place on the team. The likes of Gangman cannot find a place in the team. Guys, building is for 17. You're going to be with the big boys. If you sit down and analyze the age of those Al-Ahly players and everything like that, my friend, they are not kids. We are having parents looking for school fees on the field of play. So they are not joking. If they lose, the kid doesn't go to school. So that's the business. That's the business end of the competition.
Let's wrap. I have last call on the line. Sorry, Phil. I had to call Jimmy. Jimmy, welcome. Thank you for holding.
Jimmy,
Show Jimmy.
Before defense, let's get Africa Pirates. Defense.
Hey, Kapila.
Yeah, second. Warren, defense just announced as
yeah.
Coach South Africa. Rna Archandi Kapaja, no from Africa, Georgia, the referee, the Georgia, the club. Rna, President Arnai Tagamu, South Africa, but Ilo Chagamu Homo, oral about South Africa, until the Association, a coach to be a woman. If I let the Melo coach to the Salamolina, let me read Mel, Otago to Lopare, locally, Dixie River to Areala, keep Bolo Galgona. It's a person be a well player at Yatama, become Hanu. Everyone, go for the more Bujelas to me. Go to the Parasite Amai. I know plenty, live a lower. We let the same big idea. He's still putting the strikers on the bench and he's still putting Nigerians on the goalkeeper. I don't know why we have a goalkeeper for Ghana, one Ghana goalkeeper. He put him on the bench. That coach man must go. He don't have a friend team. He's dropping us too much. Now it's the room they say. Now it's the rumors on the Twitter. They say supporters for press. They go to march on the 5th of June at the Orlando Stadium because of this coach. This coach must go home. And lastly, I want to touch Athlete Africa.
Yeah.
I was surprised. Polokwane City is from Polokwane. I'm surprised why Polokwane City appeal the rules for PSA. Polokwane City never put the rules for Athlete Africa. Yeah, Athlete Africa is something is fishing for Polokwane City. If Polokwane City is appealing for that one, they can't go to PSL. I'm not going down. Someone is paying someone from Polokwane City to make an appeal. But number one is Kukuni. We must go straight. If we take points for Polokwane City, we must take points for Polokwane City. It's like last year when they give TSG 14 the points. When TSG was going down, they appeal and they win the appeal. They get the points. Another team is put down. I don't know why the Polokwane City appeal for what? Because one people they know the rules. You must be 5 people for under 23, but they don't follow the rules. Now they are appealing for what? Something is kissing water. Follow people are running South Africa football because they have a lot of money. Because money is struggling in South Africa now. Look, why Royal City don't appeal? Royal City appealing what? Because they are not going anywhere.
No, you're right. We touched on this earlier. Thank you, Jimmy.
Thank you, Tawara. We love this show too much. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Pirates, no strikers again. Quickly before we talk BafANA.
I'm not. You know, I've defended JZ.
Yeah.
But I was like, I mean, you look at the game for me. Just the topic that we're coming back from now. If there was one game that was a classic example of the difference between South African football and North African football, it was that Pirates game. Pirates just before Malango scored the open goal. Pirates had a best chance, full chance,
6 minutes.
And if there was a striker there, not a false nine, a striker, that was a goal.
Yeah.
And you look at the goal that Malango scored, half a chance. They take it. And you look at the goals that follow, high press, counter press.
Hey, the traps.
The pressing traps.
The difference between true pressing.
But for me, we're talking about the finer details. Those margins. And that's what you saw from Raja. Now you can see that here's a Raja team, and also you could see even why they're not considered much. They've had, I think now in 8 matches, they've had 7 clean sheets. Yeah. In the last 8 matches in the CAF Confed, they've had 7 clean sheets.
They're scoring home and away.
Yeah,
they're scoring home and away. They've got a point of reference, that is Malango. There, he's a huge difference.
Yeah,
Ben Malango, aerially, but also in terms of pressing,
his position,
the positioning,
leading the line, because
the finishing,
he's defending from outfield.
Exactly. So for me, I mean, I've seen Pirates. Pirates is one of the teams. Them and Sundowns, they're one of the teams I've enjoyed watching when playing on the continent. But this season, I've never been so disappointed by Pirates playing on the continent, because this Pirates team just didn't have the characteristics of playing CAF interclub competitions.
Yeah.
In a way that it should be played.
True.
For me, it was just disappointing.
They usually show
how
up.
they set up, how they approached. It was. There's a way to play in the PSL. There's a way to play in the CAF competitions.
Yeah.
You cannot bring how you play in the PSL to play at that level.
Yeah.
And for me, that was just.
They brought the same gear.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think also on my side, you look at what they tried to do. They made changes. Marco for Sam. They had Nyauza. They had Nyauza. They changed Nyauza, and then they had Makaringa for Lodge. Still didn't make a difference with them not having a striker, because they didn't pose any threat. And you look at the system that they played with. Yes, it was good in terms of the offensive because they applied the 4-3-3. But the clever Raja did what? They consolidated in important areas, because they came in with a 4-2-3-1, meaning they knew that one striker, that one striker that's going to assist them on the long balls to hold up play for players, oncoming player Rahim, to be on the move. Like you saw the goal that they scored. It was a pressing trap. Again, I'm still disappointed with Sunderland. Why would you play the ball in the heart of the field?
2 center backs.
Where 2 people opening up wide when you want to start at the back. Because it allows you, when you play a 4-3-3 on that section, to come out easily, because you're always going to play into those half spaces and you pull a team to a certain side, because you're playing in a pivot. Now, them not having a striker And like Mr. Velide is mentioning, why would you go to this tournament and then you don't have natural strikers? Not that you don't, you have them, but why not using them? Why not use them? Because they know the importance of this tournament, and it has proven that even them on their play, they can play, but they are possessing the ball in the wrong areas. These teams show their tactical quality. That whenever they get a chance, you bury the chance.
They finish.
You don't waste time. Like in our own game, we are comfortable with keeping the ball at the back. We want to try new things. And you see, this North African team, they know when they get into final third to punish. Like, for example, the chance that Lobu got, technical quality. The keeper was already down. You can't play the ball, press the ball down, chip it. The same goal that was scored by Rahim went over the keeper. The Sunderland was already down. Over.
Small margin.
Easy. So it shows you the level of professionalism and the level of agency and the decision making, the smartness of players, of knowing. They knew Pirates would like to play at the back. What they did, they dropped back a little bit and they made sure 3 players up front press them hard immediately when they start playing. If I was Pirates, knowing that they were disadvantaged, they couldn't have launched the ball forward. For who? Because it was going to be Raja's ball for them to build again. So now, not having a main striker disadvantaged them in a way.
Yeah, you see, you've got Wydad, you've got Al Hatley. They are not starting the ball from the back. They play it long. They play.
You ask yourself,
now for you want to be superior and start from the back. These are the things you should understand. The reason why they are dropping off. They are putting in that sense, the false sense that you can start from the back. That's what they want.
Yeah.
And if you look at their movement, the first person leading the line is not going to win the ball. It's forcing this player to play in the wrong area, pass the next player, and that's where the ball is going to be won.
Yeah.
So if you want to learn football, that's what we call about pressing, and you press to punish.
Yeah.
You don't press to get the ball and you enjoy it. Yeah. No. Because they are less number, once you win the ball, you take advantage, you punish. I think Paris players have played together after that, overhaul recruitment. They have got a good preparation for next season. I'm sure the players themselves have got some mileage to compete next season. For me, there has to be the urgency in this country that if you're a team of Sundowns caliber and you lose game against Al Hatley, you should not feel comfortable to walk the streets because you lost. We should have maybe
on Instagram.
There was the apology from they lost.
The technical team trying to explain themselves and things like that. In the other part of the African continent, actually, you dread to give a press conference.
Should be embarrassed
because you don't know what to say.
Yeah.
Until you win the next game, that's when you try to do that. There has to be that urgency that the explaining, talking about the game should be for the fans to enjoy those moments. And as players, technical team, you do the business. After the season, we have postmortem to see what you have done during the course of the season.
Really?
So let's see. I see Bucks also have a match on the 5th, but on the 5th is the last day of the season. And I think it will be done with Vivi.
Yeah. Jay-Z will be fired by then.
He'll be.
So there's no need to match.
Yeah, probably it will be his last game.
Yeah. All right, Paris match. We'll see how that goes. Let's wrap it up. BafANA have a new squad.
Noticeable.
The captain is not there. Not that he should be there, but lots of changes in this BafANA squad.
Let me listen to the technical experts first.
Experts, come on.
In a way,
before you guys start, some of the people I was talking to, technical people, and they were talking.
Is it balance?
Senior players.
There's just a whole lot that people were talking about. I don't know how you
understand. It's a team to play Uganda.
So friendly.
And fortunately for your team, knowing Uganda, who they will be bringing.
Yeah.
Yes, we're building, but
you see,
building national team.
You see, when you want a strong structure, your foundation has to be very firm. I hear where he's coming from. He's a European coach. Their systems operate and function well. So they can't bank on the young players to come through the system because they've got the basics right. In Africa, you've got a 27-year-old player who has just matured from nowhere and is the top player, and for the next 2 years, he's going to be the top player for the national team. So this kind of disbanding shows that there is no element of a local coach, technical person to guide in which players they can call upon. So yes, he's gonna build. He still has some time to build, but you don't discard the senior players. I think this is the best time he should have used to gauge all the players, including the senior players. With that first time interaction with the players, he will know which players to continue with or which players to put aside. Not immediate, because now once the young players come in, when are you going to go back to the senior players? It's going to be a scenario. So he should have maintained that core, add the players that he wants, and then I think SAFA should also be very interested to stretch their resources to say, we have got these young upcoming players. They give room to them to continue and come together, even if they have a pool of 30 players in the team. These young players, if they continue traveling with the squad, they get that experience, they call them in camp, even when they're not going to play, but they have that constant engagement that will give a good growth to this BafANA team.
But Tim, he's just been here for less than 2 weeks, to be honest. He's not seen much, and he has to select. So who is advising him? And for me, yes, he appointed a new assistant coach just last week. Yes, but the assistant coach was far, far, far away from the senior national team. And to be honest, also, the assistant has not done much, even with the team that he was coaching. So this is where I have a problem.
You'd have to believe that he has got understanding of South African players, given the fact that he had to apply, he had to try and watch the videos, try and get which kind of players are these and everything like that. Let's assume he has done his research. But we know for a fact that club football is different from the national team football.
Correct.
Some players are deceptive. A classic example is Aguero. When Pep went to Manchester City, he wanted to chase him because in training he's like this lazy guy, and then things were not working out. He tried him in a game, and the rest is history. So you're going to have those kind of players. The kind of player like Erasmus. You can't have Erasmus to try and come back and defend. You won't get those goals from him. So that understanding of those kind of players, for me, that's what is going to be a tall order for him, because he has reached building team, but South Africa is not for building. They are willing. They are willing. The BafANA, the hierarchy in South Africa is willing to fire you, pay you a check, and you're home. So he should know that his building should be with results.
No. I understand building, and I understand him when he wants to bring down, in terms of the age factor. But I just feel that technically a coach is being exposed by the FA. I feel that with a bit of technical leadership at the FA, this is a process that should be managed well. Perhaps, maybe that's why he wanted. That's why he wanted
intake.
Yes. But when you listen, and I think I understand why also taking reps are all like, no. I mean, if you look at, if you are saying you're going to cut by 60% or maybe just 20% then, and I think the logical choice after that, becomes the under 23 coach.
Who's on the lower?
Because the coach says he had a choice between David Notwane and Hellman as his assistant. And he went for Hellman. With all due respect, Coach Helmer is a novice at this level.
Yeah, no experience.
Whatsoever. He's been an assistant to the 20 coach, Thabo Snong, at the World Cup. And then he had a short stint. It's been a short stint. And he's not been a full-time as an under-20 coach. Yeah. You compare with this one who's qualified, and he failed to qualify for AFCON under-20. You compare this one, the one who was taken a team who was qualified for the AFCON, went to the AFCON, finished amongst top 3 teams on the continent.
Yes, even the coach
and is taking a team to the Olympics.
Yeah.
And he's been in that space. And as you rightfully allude to it, right next door there's Coach Sinong, been to 2 World Cups. He's a product of this FA. You can even,
and all the players that are being someone have gone through.
You can even go to him and say, hey, yes, we see about Lesotho. Come back. There's a national mission. But we don't know. We don't know. We don't know. Or maybe is it a case of we wanted a BafANA legend?
No, that's what
it looks like it. Right.
Even then, but you need to cultivate. To love your coaches or the people you're going to work with. For me, I'm proud in Seki for the fact that he considered coming back to be the other assistant until the negotiations failed.
Yes.
I applaud him for that.
Yes.
Because he let everything sit and say, okay, there is a project. I can consider it. But the powers that be didn't permit it.
But not to be controversial. Now, if our ex-head coach is asked to take that drastic cut,
70%.
How much is the first assistant who comes from Europe?
That's what I'm saying.
That
should not happen. That's what I'm saying.
You understand
the fact that he considered it and he was failed by the negotiations, that's not right.
Yeah.
So this is a situation where he is one of their own. If you look at the service that he has rendered to the federation, that's not the right way. If he has opened the door to say, okay, I can consider being an assistant, I think they should have taken that opportunity to grab him and keep him in-house. But they failed to do that.
Yeah. But I'm looking forward because, and I assume that Uganda is bringing a strong team here because they are preparing for the World Cup qualifiers.
Yeah, and this is a marketing platform.
Exactly.
For all the players we have in Uganda.
And also you'll be bringing even your players as well.
Yeah.
So when I compare this team to the team that's to play Uganda,
we should give you a run for your money. That's for sure.
Well, just on my side, I think yes, maybe it's refreshing for the fans to see new faces in the squad. But what are they going to bring? We just have to wait and see.
It's experimental.
Yeah, it's an experimental project that we have. Yes, one of the notable players there is Tau Doli.
You seem not to learn. The national team is not experimental.
True. That's what I'm saying. I think now we are trying to please the fans and not focusing on the main project. Because the main project is to get us qualified. Yeah. When you're going to be experimenting, it's not going to work at this point.
Because the coach doesn't have other international dates before the World Cup qualifiers.
This is it.
This was the perfect time for the coach to see.
Just to add like what Tim was saying, rightly so. The way also Mr. Velile mentioned, the way of fusing and blending this team together, senior and younger players. So then you have an opportunity to say, I can't work with the senior player.
Yes.
This one is running out of steam. This one I can keep. This youngster just needs this nurturing from this point.
Yeah.
It's easy balance to see that, but to see this, it's not that I don't have confidence on these players. But according to what the other national teams will bring, immediately these guys lose. Yeah. What are we going to say about the coach? What are we going to say? The balance,
because
it's not enough.
This is the only time that he has got an opportunity to have a look at all the players.
Before you discard them.
Before you can compete. For me, having missed out on the AFCON, it's a must. They have to compete to qualify for the World Cup.
Yeah.
And
at least get through the group stages.
Like,
let's wait and see.
Tough.
yeah.
All right.
But yeah, it's good for the faces that are there. At least people will have something to talk about. That you do have youngsters. If they perform, yes, we're gonna rally behind them and we're gonna support them. Yes, they're our national team, but
the national team is not for youngsters.
it's true.
Tried and tested. If you are young in age, and you're in the national team, you are a senior player. Then your age is young. But not your ability. Not what we expect from you.
Yeah, not your ability.
Yes, because they're the national team. They're gonna kick you to get the result. That's what we want. It's fighting there. There's no time for you to grow.
Imbalance is the word.
All right. Yeah. That was a show and a half. Thank you to everybody watching on your devices, on YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe. All the voice notes, all the calls that came in. Thank you for supporting the channel. Thank you to Velile. Thank you to Calvin Sosibo. Thank you to Timothy Batabari for showing up. The season is almost done. We are almost there, gentlemen. Almost there. We're going to take a breather, recharge our batteries, and be back with a bang for the 2021-2022 season. From myself, Fidel at the back, hasta la victoria, siempre.
Hola,